confidence. Confidence is something that many of us have struggles with, understanding what it is, how it's affected, how we can have more of it. And of course, the benefits of more confidence, I believe, really do just speak for themselves. Hey there, Phoenixes. Daniela Langford here, founder and head coach at ReDesign Your Life Forever. And I am out here in the Lowe's parking lot making this video for you on confidence. And just really quick before we get started, I just wanted to share, on my way here, we've been recently talking about synchronicity and numbers and higher connection, which all obviously, has to do with confidence and how you feel about yourself. I literally was just rickrolled by the radio, by the universe on the way here, and it was 1:22 when it happened. It's 1:31 right now. I don't know if you can see that. But it's one of those things, that when it happens, it's so amazing. And we were just talking about it and sharing those experiences about being rickrolled by the radio. And literally, Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up came on the radio, and it just, love that feeling. So, years ago, talking about confidence, years ago, you would have never in a million years caught me dead making a video in public. Being out here in my car and all these people around parking and doing their thing, looking at you, going, what the heck is going on in there? Never in a million years would you have caught me dead doing this years ago. I would have been absolutely just mortified, just frozen. Because you get, you feel self-conscious, you start to judge yourself, taking other people's opinions of what you're doing personally, and I find most of the times that those aren't even real opinions. They're made up in our heads, and they have really nothing to do with the reality of the situation. So often I get asked, what is confidence? Like, what is it? What the heck is it? And a common meaning for confidence, one that, most people associate with it, is, a feeling of certainty about handling something, like dealing with work or family, social stuff or, relationships. But I find that it goes much deeper than that. It's an inner knowing, that a trust, a self-assurance, a self-esteem, of course, a feeling of sovereignty, having that trust in yourself, knowing and trusting and living as though you are perfect, exactly as you are, even as you learn and grow and change, that all of those stages are, there's a point to that, and you are okay where you are, and, this is not a competition, which I know is something that's definitely not the mainstream thought, that, life is not a competition. So, but that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother time. I really find that living with confidence means for me, and, has continued to mean for me, and finding new ways of, embodying this myself, is that you don't need the opinion of other people to feel those feelings for yourself, those personal, physical feelings, spiritual feelings of trust, knowing, and living. So I know all of this is very much so easier said than done. We can talk about it all day long, but when it comes down to actual practical application, I know that confidence is affected by many factors, in and out of your control a lot of times. There are inner and external forces that constantly test our confidence, constantly. Outer naysayers, inner naysayers, that inner dialogue, we've talked about before. Other people that were held back by others, so they express that onto you, and that works, they get their mojo going on you, and then the mind is trained to believe that we need that outside approval. Then we end up self-regulating ourselves, with poor self-esteem and, lack of self-trust and all of these things, to keep our own selves down and keep that cycle a burning. So, the question inevitably comes up, in my practice, not only, with my own self and self-evolution, but of course, with, those I facilitate, is that how can we overcome the negative influences? And I hate to say negative and positive, because the deeper you go into spiritual and religious teachings, you find that, there are two sides of the same coin, but for, the sake of the argument here, is like, how do you overcome the negative influences around us to have more confidence now? Like, how can I feel better right now? So I've got, 3 tips here, right here. Oh, I wrote them down for you so I can make sure to tell them to you all right. But I have 3 tips here that I really implore you to use at any given time, and as much as you possibly can, because they really do make a difference. So number 1 is as much as possible, you want to remove yourself from the excess negative influence if and when you can. And this can be people. We've all been in that situation. We all have, what they call toxic relationships, whether that be romantic, whether that be a friendship that you've ended in, because you don't think very highly of yourself. And so you end up in a toxic friendship, toxic family members, of course. All of these people that they themselves are, wrapped up in their own struggles of, confidence and connection and, all of that. So it sounds really simple, in a very simple, just get yourself away from it, Well, really, truly, though, everything is vibration, of course, as we've talked about, and vibrations affect us in those subtle and not so subtle ways. So lower vibration, lower confidence, that spills out, not only from ourselves, but from other people onto us. And it really is, an effective kind of immediate thing to do is to just get yourself out of that situation. Get yourself out of the house. If you've got a toxic house, go out and go to the park. You don't even have to go buy yourself lunch. Just go and do something and take a break. Take a breather, giving you a chance to recenter yourself. Number 2 is going to be that positive self-talk. And we've talked about that a whole lot in this group in various and sundry of weeks before. But as simple as it is in concept, again, it's a serious factor when it comes to confident people, what they talk to themselves about in their head. You want to check in with yourself. What is that talk that you talk to yourself? What use do you use to, describe yourself? Are they words that other people have used to describe you and you are just following in their footsteps? Are you just repeating again, what your parents may have told you and you're carrying that on, through into an adulthood? Stupid, like when you make a mistake, you call yourself stupid or idiot, fool. Oh, you stupid old woman, like how weak are you that you can't even X, Y, like things like that. Do you constantly tell yourself that, oh yeah, I'm depressed and oh, I am sad and oh, I am alone? Do you tell yourself those things? Check in. Do you say that to yourself? Because that is a huge factor that has to do with how you feel about yourself. So if you can, begin to change that talk, you can really begin to, work on how you feel about yourself and really start to then implement stage 3 would be, the classic fake it till you make it. It's a cliche, of course, at this point, but one that I feel has endured for a reason. Mindset, is only part of that confidence equation, a huge part, but it's only a part, and that can't be it. You have to practice. Theory alone does not equal practical experience, as I'm sure many of you know. Yes, you're going to make mistakes. We all do. That's kind of the point. We come here to, play the game, but you have a better mindset about it. You are using these things in practice so that you don't let mistakes crush you like they did before. So that you can continue on to keep practicing, because it will get easier, I promise. It's just confidence, like many, many other things that we work on in this lifetime, is like a muscle. And the more you exercise it and the more you pay attention to it and are conscious and aware of it, the more it will grow and get easier. So work it out. Practice, And the question comes, how do you practice? How are we practicing? Well, right here, we're practicing out here as I'm showing you here. As I said earlier in the video, I would have never been caught dead making this video. All people have, in and out, they've come in and out. They're, watching me making this video in my car. People have parked in front of me. They're parking next to me. Somebody's pulling out right now. They're probably wondering what the heck is going on in here. That alone, just the thought of that would have, just turned me into stone. And, I would have never been able to, make a video like this, even just sitting in my car, like I'm not outside or anything. They can't hear me. So try the new things that scare you is what I'm trying to say here to get back around to it. But really, doing those things that scare you. If it scares you to spend time alone for yourself, go and take half an hour and get out of your house, get out of that toxic environment and, 2 for 1, and go to a park. Just go sit there, enjoy the birds, enjoy the sounds. Just give yourself a chance to breathe and experience, the peace and serenity it can be like when you're just by yourself and you don't have anyone calling on you for anything. You can just be you in that moment. Try that. Start small, work towards doing bigger things, and you have to, in the same vein, give yourself that leniency mentally, that you did as a baby child learning to walk. Because as a child, you did not rip yourself a new one every time you stumbled or you fell over. I mean, of course, physically it was painful and you cried, but you weren't crying because you were beating yourself up in your head. You know what I'm saying? So don't let the thoughts of the opinions of others, just the mere thought of the opinion of what others might be thinking, deter you. Most of the time I've really discovered that people are not being as critical of you and what you're doing as you think they are in your head. You are so much harder on your own self than they are, definitely. Well, of course, angry road rage assholes withstanding, but you see what I'm getting at here. So the more new things that you try, and you accomplish, the more confident you will be. And the more confident you are, the more fun new things you'll want to go out and try. And you'll want to be, and you'll want to explore, and you'll feel that that's exciting to try new things instead of terrifying. So, just imagine a life like that, exploring the world with the wonder of a child, who you really are, what the world has to show you, tasting and trying and experiencing, never once actually being concerned with the opinions, judgment of others, taking on the self-imposed limitation that others have imposed upon themselves, and you've taken those on. Feeling freedom. Imagine a life like that, where you could do that, where it doesn't matter what other people think of you. I would like to share that opportunity with you to start that journey. A period of, what I offer is a period of one-on-one, focused, targeted guidance through the learning curve, because it's the learning curve that is, I find, the most overwhelming for people, because they say, oh, I'm so far behind on the curve. I'm, X, Y, and Z years old. I've, done this, and I haven't done anything with it, blah, 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 blah. Wherever you are on the curve, I can meet you on that curve. 8 spots. I have, 8 spots left to offer my time to you to help those of you who are struggling with this week. So let's get on that 45-minute call that is free to you. It is my time giving it to you so that we can open that up for you, so that we can dive deeply, because I know it takes time and effort to do that, and a lot of times we don't know where to begin. And having someone else there to guide us through that process of just asking the questions to guide us through makes all the difference. So I am offering that to you, 45 minutes of my time with you to, again, dive deeply and explore what is that biggest challenge that is keeping you from feeling confident, and see if working together would be a good fit. So click that link that I'm going to post again in the comments, sign up for one of those spots, and get started today. Because really, why not? Why wouldn't you want to feel more confidence today? Why wouldn't you want to feel more confidence tomorrow, in the following weeks, for the rest of your life? Redesign your life forever. Change can happen at any time, my Phoenixes. That's why we're calling it Phoenixes, because we can transform at any time. It's about embracing it and taking those first steps to change and beyond. So love and light, as always, my loves. Daniela of ReDesignYourLifeForever.com, and thank you so much for joining me.